The Music of the Spheres US tour is finally here, and today we're gonna talk all about it. But before we get started, make sure you're subscribed to the channel to make sure that you are up to date about everything Coldplay. And if you haven't checked it out yet, we do have a Discord server. So we talk about a lot of Coldplay things, about tour, share live links to the shows, and just a lot of cool stuff. So definitely check that out. All right, so let's dive into these updates. So the first thing I wanted to mention is that they had these 2 shows in Texas, right? And then they have 10 more shows left in the US. And I'm pretty sure that of these 10 remaining shows in the US, only one of them has unavailable tickets. So if you're still looking to go to a show, definitely do it now. And really the only unavailable show right now is the first night in Chicago, and since there's 2 shows, you can always go to the second one. So plenty of opportunities to still catch a show. And if you're curious about all this information, where you can get tickets, a lot of all that, of course, there's the Music of the Spheres Tour app. If you just type that in an app store, I'm sure you'll find it super easy, but they have lots of cool stuff on that, including games and such. So definitely check it out, definitely download it. If you say that you're going to a show, it'll give you updates about the show. So yeah, go do that. And of course, I also wanted to mention the LA show. So if you haven't heard yet, the one that is supposed to be in Los Angeles had been postponed, and it's still being postponed until 2023, so next year. So if you're looking to go to that performance, like I was thinking about going to that, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. And of course, there is another show that is in California, so if you can't wait, there's still available tickets. And that pretty much wraps up everything I wanted to mention about the tour dates for the remainder of the US tour. So now let's talk about what we did see from these last 2 performances, because it's been about a month since the last time they played. So first of all, these set lists do look very similar to what we saw before, with the exception of some fun surprises. So if you haven't heard yet, in these last 2 shows, Coldplay played 2 new songs. Okay, so these aren't like songs that are going to be on a next record or, you know, on the radio or anything like that, but they're kind of just more fun songs or songs dedicated to where they were. The first one being Dallas Every Day, which of course was played in Dallas, and the other one was called Houston No. 2. Now that first one, played in Dallas, called Dallas Every Day, is basically just a fun, lighthearted song that deals with the band wanting to just be in Dallas every day. And the other song, Houston No. 2, has a little bit more of a backstory because the song was originally written, or at least Houston No. 1 was written back in 2017 when the band couldn't play the performance in Houston because of a hurricane. So with this song, it was kind of more sentimental or more heartfelt in the sense that it was kind of encouraging. There's that one line in the song that goes, "Houston, gotta keep on keeping on." So it was kind of a nice moment and a way to kind of reflect on what has happened in the last 5 years and kind of like where they are, how they're back here and able to finally play for Houston. So with both songs, they were very much like country songs, right? Chris had acoustic guitar, he was singing kind of with an accent at moments, and of course it did feature a steel guitar too, which was very cool to hear. But a big question some people are asking is Coldplay going to be singing a song about each city at every city going forward? And to that I'd probably say probably not. With Dallas, you know, this was their first time in the US with this tour, and with Houston, it kind of had some sentimentality to it. So I don't think you can expect each city going forward is going to have their own song. All right, so I just talked about some songs that were on the set list, so let's dive into some songs that were not on the set list. Now, one song that was kind of a surprise not to see on both set lists was Bonnie Adam, which is that really pretty piano piece that's on Everyday Life. And it's really not certain if this was like intentional or not, like if they're not going to be playing it going forward, but I'll talk about this a little bit after the next song that I mentioned. Now, of course, the song that I'm referring to is probably the most controversial, is it on, is it not on song, and that is Coloratura. So we've had this discussion several times throughout this tour already about, you know, are they going to play Coloratura, are they not? And they haven't played this song in the last 2 shows. But the biggest thing about these last 2 shows that I'm going to give a little optimistic viewpoint about is that there apparently was a lot of really bad traffic that took place in both of the shows. So the sets were kind of delayed a little bit. So there's a very real possibility that they cut a song like Coloratura, because that's a long song, and because they pushed back the time a little bit, they needed to make some room for other songs in the set. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason why they didn't play Coloratura. And I'm not like 100% certain that they're going to continue playing it going forward, but from what I've heard and the people I've talked to, it sounds like they kind of intentionally cut it out because they needed to just make room for the rest of the set. And I mean, it is possible that they are just saving this song for more intimate venues so that it is more special, because, you know, with the songs that they perform every show, not that it loses its specialness, but I feel like with a song like Coloratura, it is kind of just one of those songs that is in the moment. It's not like an everyday kind of song. So I guess just going forward, I'm going to just take it as not an expectation that it's going to be on every set, but that if it is, it's just going to be a very special moment. And if I don't get to see it live, you know, that's because it wasn't supposed to happen. They didn't want to play it at that time. And ultimately, I mean, we're not the ones who are dictating this show. We're not the ones playing the sets, the ones actually, you know, creating this music. So I think leaving it up to the band to decide that is what's best to happen. So I don't think I'm gonna let my personal opinions get in the way of that. And I don't want to offend the band by saying, oh, I can't believe you didn't play this, because, you know, things happen, tours tour, and just live for those special moments, because each show really is special on its own, even if it doesn't have the best song on the album, Coloratura. And before we wrap things up, I did have two quick notes from two different friends who were at the Dallas show. So the first one being from a friend, Garrett, who mentioned that Preston Waite, who played the steel guitar on Dallas Every Day, also played on Sparks as well. So that's kind of an interesting fact there. And also, Will apparently used Viva drums on him for the weekend. So we're not exactly sure why he did that. Could have been just a mix-up, or maybe he didn't have time to switch over, who knows what. But it was just kind of an interesting fact there. And the other friend I wanted to mention is Ethan. So he's super active on the Discord, and I just asked him, you know, a few things that he took away from the show, and this is what he sent me. So he says, the traffic was actually crap as I went, and I went in a golf cart with two people from the server. So this is actually a really funny story, because Ethan was posting in the Discord some videos from the show, and somebody commented on one saying, hey, were you in this golf cart at this time or whatever? Did you say this? And he's like, yeah, that was me. And they're like, oh, we rode in the same golf cart at the same time. So this crazy coincidence, a very small world kind of thing, that these two people on the Discord actually saw each other at the show. So crazy. But anyway, he says, it was a strange coincidence and I enjoyed it very much. It was the best night of my life. Then he goes on to say, they might have removed Coloratura, Orphans, and Benny Adam due to the circumstances that they came late because of the bad traffic, and that they moved around some songs like Sunrise. He goes on to say, also, they played this new song, well, not technically new song, called Dallas Every Day, which we discussed there. So yeah, it seems like it was a really enjoyable night, and just the atmosphere, I'm assuming, was just incredible for that first time back in the US for the Music at the Spheres tour. But yeah, thank you for your info on that. So yeah, that pretty much is everything I wanted to mention about the tour updates. But before we get going, I did want to say that if you didn't know this, I'm actually a musician. I don't just talk about Coldplay. And I sing, play piano, play a bunch of different other instruments, but I've really been thinking about streaming on Twitch. Now, I don't have an exact date of when I'm going to be starting that, but I did include a link below so that you could follow the channel if you would be so kind, so that you can see that. And of course, I'll be keeping you updated in the Discord, but in the stream, you know I'm gonna be playing tons of Coldplay music, so I just wanted to invite you to join along with that. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I just really appreciate you and the Coldplay community in general. But of course, I'll keep you updated on more tour stuff. Until then, have a great day. Peace.